Hi, everybody. This is Still Addicted, and my name is Isra. This episode, I wanted to talk about how I got into my home, coming from the person that I once was, and to the person that I am now. But I just wanted to focus on more on financial aspects and how I got rid of everything and then rebuilt my finances, hopefully to help anybody who may be in financial struggle, but who has just started recovery and they've got loads of debts. Because a few years ago, I genuinely, you couldn't trust me with £10 because I just spent it on drugs. When I was in my really bad side of addiction, I had a job, and so I was getting a monthly wage, and I was also doing stuff on the side to get cash in hand, money, and I still had thousands and thousands of debt, credit card debt, payday loans, debt from years before that I just couldn't get myself out of, just because any bit of money that I had, I was spending it on drugs. And I didn't know how. I would literally always tell myself, right, if I was going to do a job out to get cash in hand, I would say, right, this is the money that I'm going to use to pay this person back. And then I'm going to use this money to pay this bill. And that would just never happen. I would use both amounts of money. I would probably pay the dealer back, but then whilst I'm there, get another lot on. And I would just constantly be in this cycle. And my finances were just so bad. They were shocking. So when I got into recovery, it was horrible. I had to get all my letters, and I used to basically put all my letters, all the overdue final notice, all of those really intense letters from all the debt recovery people. I just shoved them in the drawer. I just shoved them out of sight, out of mind. Don't want to see them. So when I got in early recovery, I remember getting them all out. And I think one thing with recovery is you just face stuff. You just face things head on. There is no way around any of the consequences that you end up being in when it comes to addiction. There's no way around it. And I think that's why people take ages to get into recovery, because you just have to fucking face everything, really. So when I first got in, got all my letters, went through everything. And when I say stacks, I mean stacks upon stacks. I'm going to put a short clip in here of a video that I took when I was ripping up my letters to show you how many letters I had, basically. From debt recovery people. So I basically got all of them out, and then it was just a case of I had to ring them all. Ringing them all ended up for me really too overwhelming. I couldn't, it was just too much. That was my first attempt, and it was just ended up being too much. So then I went to a company called Step Change. And Step Change, they basically go through everything with you. And it's like a debt management program thing. And to be fair, I never thought I would be doing something like that, but I had to. I just couldn't get to grips on. There was so much from so many different houses, different areas. Some of my debt was from Leeds, some of my debt was from just different houses and stuff like that, different years. And it was just a lot, and I couldn't do it on my own. So I rang Step Change, and they basically go through everything with you, and they get everything up through a credit score search. And they basically speak to all of them on your behalf. And then they consolidated everything, And then we went through all my monthly outgoings and everything. And then I paid a monthly payment to them. And then they split that money to all the different people. So I did that. And I did that for probably, I think I was doing that for the first year and a half to two, yeah, year and a half. And when I say obviously, I had a little bit of money to live my life, and because I would have just, I probably would have relapsed if I didn't give myself money to live my life. I would have probably relapsed because the thought of being so bored and not being able to do anything makes me feel really trapped. And I just was like, I need to be able to live my life. So obviously I gave myself some money to live my life, but majority of my wage for the first year and a half was just going straight to my debts. And I was looking in the fact that my mum took me in, so I wasn't paying full rent. I was paying her board, but I wasn't paying full rent. So I also had that on my side, and I just had to fucking pay them all off. And once I'd paid them all off, that's when I saved. And I basically, because I'd done that for a year and a half and was still able to live, I think it taught me the fact that I don't need to be spending so much money every single month. So then I had a choice at this point, and I was like, I could either go move out of my mum's house because I feel safe in my recovery, or I can stay and save. And I chose, I was like, you know what, long term picture, I'm going to stay and save. And that's what I did. And I basically, every bit of money that was going towards my bills, I ended up putting that money into my savings. And I got a LISA account on from Moneybox. So there's an app called Moneybox, and it was actually told by my little sister. But Martin Lewis, if anybody's in the UK here, Martin Lewis, money person, knows his shit. So I got a Moneybox LISA account, and basically the government gives you, I think, 25% of what you save, because that account is just, it's like a help to buy ISA. So that money that goes into that account, it can only be used to buy a house. So I had trained myself that I didn't need all of this money, basically. So I was putting all the money that I would have been paying off everybody back into my savings. So my amounts never really changed. And any bonuses, any extra money that I had, I just put it in because my mindset switched. And I was like, you know what? I'm not wasting this opportunity here. I'm paying my mum a certain amount of money that I know I would not at all be able to get rent in. And I just saved and saved and saved until I got to a point where I was like, I could have stayed at my mum's and I could have saved more and I could have had a bigger deposit. But I think after 4 years, I love my mum so much, but I needed my own space. I'm 35 now, do you know what I mean? But I still had over 10% deposit. So I still did better than I thought I was going to do. And now it's weird. My mentality with money is completely changed. I still love spending money. Don't get me wrong. I still love shopping. But I also know that now I have to make sure I pay everything. All my bills are paid before I go and spend any money on myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I never want to be like that. Stress that I had on myself was so intense. And probably one of the reasons why I hit my rock bottom was because of that chasing, like just chasing my tail all the time. The mental torture it had on me was a lot. So I would say if you're in early recovery, or even if you're not in early recovery and you just want to know, I would say get yourself, if you're in debt, ring Step Change or ring wherever you are in the world, ring a debt management company, and they can consolidate everything, and it's just more manageable for you. And then when you're at a point where saving, if you're in the UK, I don't know about any other countries, but in the UK, get either a LISA account or a Help to Buy account, and just put as much money as you can in there, but also give yourself money to live. Don't just make your life doom and gloom and save, save, save. Give yourself some money to live. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want to be depressed. So I hope that helps anybody. And I'm going to leave it there, but can't wait to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.